in the kitchen. Kids in the kitchen, Shirley Lord.
What's cooking in your life? Well, if you're to believe the TV ratings, cooking shows, Contest Toastmaster, that's what's cooking in everyone's life at the moment. It's something of a national obsession, and there's a smorgasbord to choose from. There's Hell's Kitchen, Poe's Kitchen, Jamie Gorblimey Oliver's Kitchen, Celebrity Chef, Master Chef, and just to add a little bit more flavour, there's even a junior Master Chef. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all for kids being able to cook. I encouraged my own sons to cook, and through my influence, one became a chef. Another likes to spend endless hours in his kitchen with a wooden spoon in one hand and a glass of red in the other. My third son is something of a food and wine aficionado. He knows all the best restaurants, is on first name basis with the staff, and knows the right wine to enhance the perfect dish. I have produced not one, not two, but 3 culinary connoisseurs. How did you manage to do that, you might ask? And it's a particularly good question because there is no secret. I hate cooking. No place makes me lose my appetite faster than a kitchen. To me, cooking is just a means to an end. If you don't eat, you die. So the very thought of spending more time in the kitchen, patiently watching the next generation peel their fingers and grate their knuckles, was not a good way for me to enhance family relationships. And it's a strange phenomenon, you know, but back in the day, before every other mad, whisk-wielding celebrity was encouraging kids to cook, children actually preferred to go outside, to play with each other. And when they did finally flop down in front of the telly, it wasn't to see what the 2 fat ladies were dishing up this week. Their TV viewing was a steady diet of Get Smart and Doctor Who. And I'm pretty sure that neither Max nor the doctor ever went within cooey of a kitchen. So without the influence of 24/7 cooking shows, and blessed with a mother whose meals represented gastronomic joylessness, how did my sons get bitten by the cooking bug? Well, it's quite simple, really. I lied to them. I used deception and reverse psychology to convince their teeny tiny teenage brains that being able to cook would make them infinitely more attractive to members of the opposite sex. I bought a terrific step-by-step cooking guide entitled Tasteosterone. 5 meals every man should master. And I graciously allowed them to master these meals at least once a week. But times have changed, ladies and gentlemen. No tricks are needed to get today's kids in the kitchen. Today's mini master chefs are as keen as mustard to spend endless hours shopping and chopping, dicing and slicing, scalloping and dolloping their way through every complicated recipe under the sun. Now, I know we can't believe everything that we see on reality TV, but is it really possible that these fabulous little foodies could really create such complicated dishes as a slow-cooked duck confit with a honey and balsamic jus, accompanied by seasonal vegetables carpaccio? And then for dessert, without missing a beat, they can whip up a chocolate ganache, an orange semifreddo with petty almond quills. See, I have no idea what half these things are, do you? Whatever happened to frog in a pond? Banana splits, or streets Neapolitan with hundreds and thousands sprinkled on top. I know that at 10 years of age, my sons certainly weren't standing around discussing how they'd make a nice, smooth raspberry coulis. They were more interested in seeing who could squish out the biggest butter and Vegemite worms through the holes in their Vita-Weeks. And then they would be outside, climbing trees, racing billy carts, and catching tadpoles. So clearly, I am no domestic goddess. And yet, I have brought into being 3 gastronomic gurus who cook with power, passion, and purpose. Well, here's my theory, and I hope it will give you some food for thought. Or you can take it all with a grain of salt, that will be up to you. But my experience tells me that if you really want to nurture lovers of good food and wine, and experts whose meals will always be delicious and drool-worthy, then you should take a leaf out of my recipe book for life. Forget that old adage that the kitchen is the heart of the home. It is not, it's a pressure cooker in there. Abandon any illusions you may have that one day you will prepare a meal with your children without one or all of you bursting into tears. And finally, accept the reality that your kitchen will never rule, and it's only in your sugary dreams that you'll ever be quite as tasty as Nigella Lawson. Gently combine these ingredients for life, and I believe that your children, like mine, will grow up to really appreciate that the only way they'll ever get a decent meal is for them to be able to cook it themselves. Bon appetit.